Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to the Apocalyptic Optimath channel. I haven't been on for a minute, and I will not be on for a minute too, because I'm busy. I'm doing my thing on Twitch, um, and yeah, and I'm having fun doing it, kind of, more or less. Um, well, there's two reasons. Well, one of the reasons is I can't really make videos right now because I'm under a too much spiritual attacks. So I gotta wait until it dissipates, and it will dissipate eventually. I just have to wait. Um, but I'm getting severely, I'm getting sent some pretty heavy spiritual attacks. I'm guessing that this is a coven that's attacking me. It can't be just one person. It has to be a coven. There's no way. It's too potent. This spiritual attack is too strong and too potent to be just one person. It has to be a coven. So and we all know who's doing it. I don't think we need to say it. Illuminati. So, anyways, yeah, man. Hope you guys doing good. I hope you guys doing great. I will be on Twitch today, all day. Warning: I will be on Twitch all day. So if you want to catch me over there. Um, so what is the situation? The situation is, I'm stuck in the middle of this whole thing that's going on right now, and I know I'm a very important person. I understand that. I get it. Some people are seeing that too. I understand that too. But um, magic is not everything. Magic is not everything. I can't. It magic is not everything. Okay, there's other things I have to do. There's other things I want. There's things that I need. There's things that I want. There's and it's not just because I'm a spiritual person. That doesn't mean I've been put into this spiritual thing. I didn't want to be in this spiritual thing. Like, not to say that I wasn't interested in magic. I've been interested in magic for a long time. I've practiced many kinds of magic systems, from white magic, black magic, everything in between, magic from other cultures. So I think the only magic that I have never practiced is, there's two magic I've never practiced, but one, Wicca. I was interested in it, but I never actually got around to doing it. And Santeria, and those are the two magical practices that I've never touched, like, ever, like, not even a book. Like Wicca, I've read books, but Santeria, I've never even nothing. I was kind of interested in it because of because they I was interested it. I have a certain interest in Santeria because they worship death, and I respect that. I respect that they worship death. Santa Muerte, Santa Maria, Santa Muerte, is the same person. It's the Virgin Mary. You can see a picture of the Virgin Mary, but it's actually death. It's in their culture, the Virgin Mary it's another aspect, and I think they are aware that it's a different aspect from the Virgin Mary, from the Christian, thing. But I think they are very aware that the Virgin Mary that they believe in is the aspect of death. I don't know why they chose the Virgin Mary as an aspect of death to worship, but I know that's what they do. And that's the reason why I respect Santeria, because I respect the death aspect of the Virgin Mary. For some reason, I find that convenient. Also, I tend to feel the same way that these guys feel about the Virgin Mary. Um, but it might be for different reasons though. So I don't know what their reason is. I know what my reason is. I don't know what their reason is. So, I've always been interested in it. But the thing is, it's not necessarily serving me. It's not necessarily serving me because gods are assholes. Let's face it. Let's just face the facts here. Let's just be real here for 2 seconds. Gods are assholes. And it doesn't matter which God you're talking about. Even the God of the Christian Bible, the God that everybody believes in and everybody thinks is great, and he's an asshole. Like, they're all assholes. Like, all gods are assholes. So, at a certain time, you bump heads with them. You end up bumping heads with them at certain time and point. Some people never do bump heads with them because they never question anything. They never, they're and it's not necessarily about questioning anything. It's some magicians are self-serving, so they don't really care about certain things that would get them riled up, especially when we're talking about world events, like or societal tendencies, right? Like, I have issues with society, and I ask questions like, why do you let this happen? Why don't you do anything about that? Why don't you do anything about that? So I end up bumping heads because we have difference of opinions, like, why do you let women get hurt so much? Why don't you protect children and stuff? Because at the end of the day, like, if you look at voodoo, right, like, one of the goddesses, the love goddess of voodoo is a child protector, right? She protects children, right? And if you look at even Satanism, Lilith is a protector of children, right? She protects children, right? So it's kind of like, so this is the thing that I keep saying, that people believe sometimes. People see miracle happens in front of their eyes, and they think it's like the God of the Christian Bible that made that happen. And I'm not saying that it never happens. I'm not saying that the God of the Bible never makes miracle happens in people's life. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying sometimes in some situations, not all situation, but some situation, you think it's the God of the Bible, but in actuality, you're born. This is what Lucifer talks about when he talks about your birthright, right? And nobody understand what that means, and it's never explained in the Bible what he means by birthright. It's never told. Nobody knows what that saying means. There's no scholar that studies that or that wrote a book about the birthright, and it's just one line in the Bible, and it's never spoken again. He says it one time, and that's it. So there's no clear indication of what he means by that or what he's referring to. Like, what the fuck does that mean? So and you have to study, and in order to understand that, you have to study other things outside of Christianity to understand what that saying means, because it's a lifelong process. It's a lifelong process. It is a lifelong. I mean, it's not necessarily a lifelong process. It's not going to take your whole life for you to understand that. But it takes a long time before you actually understand what that means. It takes a very long time. It's going to take it's like going to school. It's going to take you at least 6 years to understand what that means. Or 5 or 6 years to understand. 5 years to understand. Maybe 4 if you're really efficient at research and studying and experimenting, right? If you're really good at that, then it might take 3-4 years before you understand what that means. But the point is, it's gonna take time, right? So it's not something that you see one time and then boom, you understand what it means. Like boom, 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 like job done. So this is what I'm saying when I tell people, like, I've done a lot of videos repeating this, saying this. You might not remember, but I've said this many times on many occasions, that you are born, everybody is born under a different star, right? Everybody is born on their different start. Not everybody is born on the same day, right? If everybody was God, the notion of God would make sense if every year we would all be born on the same day. That's the only way that the notion of God would make any sense, is if every year everybody is born exactly the same day. That's the only way that the notion of God would make sense. So the belief that there is only one God is insanely absurd. Like it's insane. And the belief that only God guards your soul is also completely insane, because you're not, if let's say the God of the Bible is an all-encompassing energy, okay, it's an all-encompassing energy, but that means there are other energies working within that, that circle, right? Let's just say God is a circle. Let's say God is a circle. Well, it's a sphere, but there are things inside of the sphere. We don't know what's outside of the sphere, right? Like, we don't know what's outside of God, if there are other creatures or entities outside of God. But we know that inside of what is God, there's humanity, there's life, there's nature, there's animals, there's humans, there's asteroids, there's stars, the universe. We know what's inside of the circle. So it's ridiculous to think that there's only you and God, and inside of the circle there's nothing else. That's obscene. It's obscene. It's insane. So the point I'm trying to make here is, I'm not trying to God bash here, but when I proclaim that everybody's born under a different star, is that there's constellations. The constellations are connected to hieroglyphs and what's it called? Hold up. It's connected to hieroglyphs. It's connected to what's it called? The horoscopes. The horoscope are connected. The hieroglyphs and the horoscope is connected to runes. The runes are connected to symbols. The symbols are connected to ideals. The ideals are connected to gods, right? Because there's a God of nature. The ideal is nature. The ideal is conviction, justice, death, life, the reincarnation. So there's a God of all those things, right? And those things, let's assume here that all those things live within that sphere, right? That people call God, right? So at the end of the day, okay, you might believe in what's in on the fence of that sphere, fine, but from one point, because there's a middle point, you're the middle point, right? There's a point within that sphere, right? And that's you, right? There's a distance between the middle of the sphere and the fence of that sphere, right? The circumference of that sphere, right? So let's say you come from the fence. You traveled through a bunch of things to end up in the middle of the sphere, right? I mean, am I making any sense so far? Are you guys following me right now? I don't know. But one thing's for sure, I don't know how big the circle is. It might be a big circle. It might be a small circle. But there's a distance traveled between point A and point B, right? And let's say what I'm saying makes sense. Not everybody is starting from the same area of that circumference of the sphere. So your point A, let's say this is a sphere and you're starting here, and the middle is here, right? Like, let's say the middle is here, you're here. Like, I'm gonna use the screen here. So this is one point of the circle. This is a circle, whatever, you get the point. So but this is point A, and this is point B, right? So somebody else is born now. That doesn't mean this person being born, he's in the middle with you. You see him, he's with you, so he's in the middle. You are aware that this person is here, is physical, he exists, is there, right? But it doesn't mean that he started from the same point A that you started from. So he might have started from this point A and ended up in point B, and you started from that point and ended up here, and this person started from this point and ended up here. So these are different distance. It's not a different distance, it's the same distance. Everybody travels the same distance, but they don't start from the same area, right? And between point A and point B, there's things, there's portals, right? There's portals, there's doorways, gates, portals, whatever you want to call it, right? Pathways, pit stops, restrooms, whatever you want to call it, right? Fucking gas stations, right? Right? There's gas stations, right? So your body, whichever guy you are in the perimeter of that circle that you are hanging around as, until you become physical, you're gonna end up going into this pit stop and that pit stop and this pit stop and that pit stop and this pit stop and that pit stop, and those things, those pit stops are what some people would consider consciousness, but not necessarily consciousness itself, right? Because at the end of the day, saying consciousness is an all-encompassing thing. You're not necessarily saying when you say consciousness, you're saying that you are all those things, but at the same time, you're not specifying what thing that you are, right? It's not like most spiritual workers are not gonna, when they're gonna talk to you, they're gonna refer to consciousness. They're not gonna say the first degree of, I don't know, Odin, of Valhalla inhabitant. I'm a first degree Valhalla inhabitant going to second degree voodoo spirit to fucking third degree I don't know, fucking Greek god. Like, that's not how people talk, and we're not necessarily aware of those notions. Some people might be, I'm not saying that that's not impossible. That there's some people that are you have affinities. That's what we call affinities, right? Some people have affinities. Some people really love Norse mythology, and they practice Norse mythology things, behavior, as the honey brew mead and the dancing and the music and the thing and the this and the that, so I have an affinity I have a Viking energy affinities. One part of my consciousness is Ivar the Boneless. I've said this before. I'm a reincarnation of Ivar the Boneless, right? That's my affinity. I have an affinity for Ivar the Boneless. I've always known who Ivar the Boneless is since I was fucking 8 years old. Even though I'm black, and I used to go in an all-black school. So it's to me, I take this affinity seriously because there's nothing in my life that brought me to the notion of Ivar the Boneless. Right? I went to an all black school. There was no Vikings in my culture. I live in an all black family. My mother's black, my father's black. We used to listen to black music. We used to listen to Haitian music. We listened to hip hop music. So I never this affinity was very important to me. This connection was very important to me, right? So, and it meant something. It meant something. It shaped a little bit of my thinking. You know, I was 8 years old. I wasn't necessarily aware of all of these things, but I knew that I had an attraction to this person, to this man, to this legend, right? And all you have to remember, all of Ragnar's son are technically gods, right? The way that they write some stories about them, it's over the top, right? It's very over the top. It's very exaggerated. It's like they're demigods, right? It's like they're Hercules, right? Like Bjorn Ironside and all those guys. I know Bjorn Ironside is a very important figure in Norse mythology too. You know, it's not like I was more aware of Ivar the Boneless and Bjorn Ironside. I was more aware of them than I was aware of Ragnar, their father, right? So, you know, and I'm talking about shit that I read like a bajillion years ago, so I don't remember much, you know. So, you know, you go through these portals. So as I was saying, in the notion of, this is a miracle that happened, you know, some people are protected. You're protected by spirits, and those spirits are not just spirits. You protect yourself, right? But you don't know that you're protecting yourself. You see it as, it's a god, and you know, it's divine, and yada yada. No, that thing that you will have an affinity towards is you. That's why you have an affinity of it, right? It's because it's you. You're part of it, right? So you're a piece of this ideal. You are born from this ideal. You're a lot of people hate this kind of content because they don't know who their dad is, and they don't know who their mother is, and they don't know when they were born. And it does suck when you don't know these things. It fucks with you mentally. It fucks with you like emotionally, and it makes you angry and irate, and you're angry at a lot of people for a lot of reasons, right? And all of those reasons are valid. But the thing that you have to remember, if you feel that way, you have to remember, and I'm going to sound like a dick. But your anger is making you waste time. Because the time that you're spending being angry, you could look at yourself. Because at the end of the day, I don't believe that you're capable of acting outside of the path that you came from. I don't think it's possible for a person to you would have to make a tremendous amount of effort to act differently than what you really are. What I mean by that is, especially if you don't know who your parents are and I would say, if you don't know who your parents are and you was born alone, depending on the situation, Depending on the situation, let's say you were adopted and shit like, so depending on the situation, I would say that you're lucky. You're luckier than most. Why? Because you don't have exterior interference with who you are. Because at the end of the day, family gets in the way of who a person is supposed to be. And the reason for that is because we have outgrown magic. We have outgrown spirituality. And I'm not saying that in a good way. I'm saying that in a conformist type of way. Right? So we conform to the government. We conform to the rules. We conform to the Illuminati. Right? We conform to pedophiles and serial rapists. Right? We conform to them. We give them everything. We give them our entire lives. They are responsible. Serial rapists and pedophiles are responsible for how we think, what we eat, where we go, how and when to do things. So if you're born in a family, you can rebel and have this teenage, the teenage anger thing where you're kind of like, because it happens. That's why you have this teenager anger shit. Like when a teenager is angry at their parents because they don't know who they are, and they're pissed off because they want to know who they are, and they know that they are more than just a person that wakes up, goes to sleep, eat dinner, then does the same shit every day over and over again until the end of time. That's why teenagers get angry. Because they want to know what the fuck is going on. They don't know what's going on, but they want to know what's going on. Right? And in the society that's not spiritual, in a society that is not tribal, society consider themselves tribal. You're not tribal. You're conformist. You're the opposite of tribal. You conform. Your head is in the sand, and you conform. Even alleged gangsters, you're conformist, right? You accept your place in society. You accept being a loser. You accept being a blue collar worker. You accept that you're nothing more than those specific titles, and you are not. Your ambition is turned all the way down to zero, and you're now trying to get more out of life. And we make children, and those same people make children, and then they impose those same rules, or they try to anyways, the best of their ability, because they don't want their children to suffer, because they don't want their children to end up in jail. And they apply those principles and those rules the best way they can to their children. So this is how society is educated. So when you're an orphan, you're kind of lucky, because now you're bare bones. You really are who you are. You're not what somebody else told you to be. You just are. So you're more connected to your spirit entity, whether you're aware of it or not. You're more connected to your spirit entity than everybody else. Point blank range. Point blank range. And that's just facts. Unless you're a magician, a spiritualist, a spiritual worker, you're in connection value. You have more connection to your spirit self, your spirit totems, because you don't have just one totem. A totem is something built off of, a totem is multiple layers of multiple entities. The Indians got it right. The American Indian had it right the first time. You are a totem. Those totem poles are very important. And you gotta respect it. When you see a totem pole, salute that shit. If you're lucky enough to walk past a totem pole, salute that shit. Because that shit's real. That's the realest shit you'll ever see in your fucking life. Because that's you. That's how you're built. That's how you're built, bro. You're a totem pole of multiple entities. On a totem pole, there's a bird, there's an eagle, there's a falcon, there's a bear, and those totem poles actually represent one entity. That's why it's a pole. It's a column. So I hope anybody that doesn't have parents and stuff like that, when they listen to my videos or they listen to other people's videos where they talk about shit like that, don't get pissed. Don't get mad. Don't be like, oh, well, it's easy for you to say, when you was born, blah, 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 blah. I understand that. And you're right. You're 100% right. 100% right, bro. You're 100% right, bro. But I'm telling you, the only good advice that I can tell you is to let that shit go. That's the best advice that I can give you. That's literally this is coming from somebody that studied many years. Like I'm the horseman of the apocalypse, nigga. I'm Lucifer, nigga. I'm an apocalyptic optimath, nigga. I'm this, I'm that. I'm the bane of the Illuminati, nigga. I'm the Illuminati's curse, nigga. The Illuminati cursing me. I'm the curse of the Illuminati. You know what I mean? Like coming from that guy, my best advice, the best advice that guy could give you is let that shit go, nigga. Let that anger go, bro. Let that shit go, bro. It's just making you waste time. I saw a movie the other day, man. Great movie. I don't remember the name of it. I think it was with Keanu Reeves. I don't remember. No, anyway, it was with a very popular actor. I don't know if it was. Don't quote me on that. Don't take this for cash. I don't remember who was. I know who was in the movie. Like if I saw it, I'd be like, oh yeah, that guy. But anyways, so I saw a movie the other day. It was three brothers, but they were orphans. They were orphan brothers, right? Or two of them were brothers, and one of them they found when they were in jail and shit. And those three guys were like bank robbers, right? And they were bank robbers and shit. And then there's this cop, which I think was Keanu Reeves, but it might not be Keanu Reeves. I don't remember. Was it Point Break? Is it Point Break, bro? I think it was Point Break, man. Point Break is a goddamn great movie. I don't remember if it's Point Break, but anyway. But these three guys are bank robbers and shit. And in the movie, they're orphans. They don't know their parents. They were raised in foster homes and shit like that. And but they used to surf. They surf a lot. They're always in the water. They're always in the water. When they're not robbing banks, they're always in the water, bro. They have a surf shop. They're surf coaches. Like they're all about water. Like they're all about water, bro. And they can they're like fish. Like they're literally like fishmen, bro. Like they can swim under the water for a long ass time. They can hold their breath for a long ass time, bro. There's like, and they have long hair and blue eyes, long blonde hair and blue eyes and shit. Basically, like they're like Poseidon. They have Poseidon energy. They love waves, and then they're always risking their lives in waves, and they never die. They take the biggest waves they can find, and they never get their legs broken or anything like that. It's just they're one with the water, right? They're like gods, basically. It was a great movie, man. It's a great goddamn movie, bro. I don't remember the name of the movie. I don't remember who's in the movie, but it was a great fucking movie, man. And And that's the thing, they were raw. They were raw, bro. It's a perfect example because they were raw. There was nothing in between them and the water. It was just them and the water. There's nothing else. So of course, having parents has its advantages. You know, they take care of you. They put a roof over your head. They feed you and shit like that. It has its advantages, of course. But you have to understand that we're not living in a movie, right? No pun intended, no offense meant, but we're not living in a movie. And in reality, family values are not necessarily the best values to have. In the movies, they tell you so. And people want what they see in the movies because it looks fun to be in a family and having brotherly and sisterly love and blood is thicker than water and yada 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 and whatnot. You know, everybody wants that. Well, some people want that. You know I wanted it at some point. I don't believe in that anymore, but I understand it. You know, I see where you're coming from. You know, but it's not necessarily the best thing out there. That's what the government wants you to believe, and that's what media wants you to believe, and they want you to forget about yourself. Because at the end of the day, everything you do makes the Illuminati, the serial rapists, the PDF files, the serial rapists and the PDF files, it makes them more money. So they can build tunnels under your house and under your street to funnel kids so they can go grape every goddamn Sunday. This is what taxpayers' money is going for. Taxpayers' money is going towards grape and PDF filings and PDF files. That's what they're using the money for. And they have to make you not remember who you are. This is great. What they're doing is genius. It's pure genius. They completely removed your soul and spirit so they can take everything from you and they can do whatever they want with it. And profit off of everything, basically stealing everything from you, selling it to somebody else, make money so they can go off and do bad shit. It's pure genius. Pure genius. Incredible. You have to be a genius to think about shit like that, bro. Facts. I'm being sarcastic, but I'm not being sarcastic at the same time, bro. It is it's fucking, if you think about it, it's pure fucking genius, man. If you think about it, bro, it's pure fucking genius, bro. So anyways, back to the people that always assume that God is the only one doing anything for them. That comes from, it's an ignorant mindset. It's an ignorant mindset, bro. Like, my totem pole, on my totem pole, I have voodoo spirits, I have North spirit, I have a lot of demons. There's a lot of demons on my totem pole. That's and I have Greek gods on my totem pole. That's what I have on my totem pole. Most people have around the same thing with slight differences. I believe that most people have Viking, demon, and Greek entities on their totem pole. I'm pretty sure 80% of humans have those three things. For sure. At least 80% of humanity. Maybe there are, and I have probably some Chinese, I probably just have some Chinese spirits. I have some Tengus. I have some Tengus and some Onis on my totem pole. I'm very Asiatic. I'm very Asian. But whatever. I'm pretty sure 80% of people have those three things. So, because Greeks are very important. Greeks are in our heads. They're in our heads. Like, they're literally in our heads. You know. Ooh, and Indian too. I have Devas on my totem pole. I keep forgetting. So yeah, man. Like, sometimes you see a miracle happen. You know, somebody wants to hurt you, somebody wants to do something bad, and then there's a miracle that happens, something bad happened to the person. You know, it's not necessarily because of God. It's not. Sometimes you just have the ability to protect yourself. Sometimes you're just that damn good. You know, like, for real. Like, sometimes you just, you're just built like that. You're built like that. You're literally built that way, bro. Literally. Because if we go back to the circle thing with the point A and the point B thing, that's how you came here. It's by going through those totem poles. It's by going through those gas stations. You come from your essence, your DNA and your essence is comprised of those different gas stations that you stopped at when you were before being human. It is what it is. The thing is, a lot of people have a lot of difficulty accepting that. A lot of people have a hard time accepting that that's a fact. Because they don't want to get punished by God. Because they don't want to. They're God fearing. They don't want to get punished by God. They don't want to offend God. So they forget who they are. That's what fear does. Fear makes you forget things. Fear makes you forget things. So when you're saying, I'm God fearing, what are you really saying? Oh, I'm just being polite. You know, I don't want to offend anybody either. Yeah, sure. But don't you proceed through life with that notion that you are God fearing? Therefore, everybody else, that whether or not you fear God in actuality, you're looking at your fellow man and his God fearingness, and you're basing yourself off of what he's doing. So whatever he's doing or not doing, that's exactly what you're gonna do. So it's the same thing. You are, whether you truly do fear God or not, you're forgetting who you are. I'm gonna stop the video right there, because what I just said was dope as fuck. And I don't want to say more, because that might take away from everything I just said. And with that said, I'll see you guys later. And I will be back. All this fucking video was to say that I will be back a little bit later once, all this fucking spiritual attack shit dissipates. Because that's the thing about magic. It always dispels. So I have to wait. And, And I'll see you guys later, I guess. If the Illuminati don't kill me, if my mom if my mom or the people that I live around don't end up killing me first and shit, I don't fucking know. But anyways, I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good one. Peace out.